Hey, it's Reverend Bill time. Tonight, I think I want to talk a little bit about Rachel Zegler. For those of you who know her, she's a young Latina star um, who can't seem to get out of her own way. Despite her best efforts, her star continues to rise. I come from the school that if things are going well for you, you should just kick back and enjoy and let it happen. But she seems to think that there's more going on upstairs than there actually is. She's a young, attractive girl. Doesn't really appeal to me. Maybe if I was, 40 years younger, I would probably be more enamored with her looks. But I mean, she's a cute girl. There's no denying that. Um, she caught our attention first with her role as Maria, I think, in West Side Story, which I think Steven Spielberg, excuse me, directed. Yeah. Um, She followed it up with an extremely forgettable role, an extremely forgettable movie, Shazam 2. That was not her fault, though. That was just at the point of when we had, well, they call it superhero movie fatigue. I call it bad superhero movie fatigue, where they tried to do the girl boss a little too much. Um, and we don't necessarily always want to see the woman save the man. Anyway, regardless, it's a whole different conversation. Still, despite all that, it looked like her star was on the rise. So they decided to put her um, in a live action remake of Snow White and ignore certain elements. It was going to be a DEI Snow White, and there's going to be one of many changes because we can't have the prince save the young woman. She's got to be a leader, not a follower. Men can't possibly have anything to offer a woman. They're way too strong and perfect in every way. And that's why the superhero movies, I think, have started to go awry. It's because you're watching. I don't even know what the movie was because I just don't go to them anymore. But I think it was might have been Wakanda Forever. I didn't get to see that either because I didn't want to. But at one point, there's this young 16-year-old girl, never been to any kind of college, and suddenly she had the skills of Tony Stark, who studied all kinds of sciences and physics his entire life to make the Iron Man suit. But no, the 16-year-old girl just did it because she's a girl, and girls don't need men professors telling them about physics and electronics. They just know. It just comes in osmosis takes place. Any self-respecting woman can throw together an atom bomb without a lesson. It just happens. Anyway, getting back to the story. They decided to get away from the core story of Snow White. One of their first things they did after they decided that a Latina was going to be Snow White. Now, Snow White's name came from the fact that she was whiter than white. That's why they called her Snow White. But I guess that whole thing was ignored for the movie because it just didn't fit what they wanted to do. And then there was the dwarfs. I guess they were going to go with dwarfs, and then Peter Dinklage, which really surprised me because he's made a living from playing dwarfs, but he spoke out and said that it was I don't know, prejudice or belittling or whatever the terms they use. So they decided not to use dwarfs, which meant that seven dwarfs who don't get a lot of roles suddenly uh, didn't get a chance at this role either. So he put seven dwarves on in the unemployment line that otherwise could have probably made a nice hefty payday. They'll have to wait for their next dwarf role because we know there's plenty of those. But let me show you exactly what they brought instead. Let's see. Do. Yeah. So this was what they decided. They would bring in the diverse group of merry men, I guess. I don't know what you want to call that. Um, but as you can possibly imagine, that went over about as well as a lead balloon. Um, so people were like, "What is that?" So they didn't do that anymore. Let's see. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. All right. So let's see. Uh, so after that, after people complained, they decided to go to CGI, which is slightly better, um, but it was still a mess. It looked phony. It looked like CGI. Um, and I don't know. They continue with that, and I guess that's what they're going with. Um, they also decided that, as I mentioned before, she didn't need a prince saving her. She was a girl boss. She didn't need a man. And instead, I guess in the original one, she was thankful that the dwarf put her up because she was scared and she had no home. And she cleaned the house. But we can't have that nowadays. A woman does not clean after men. No, no, no. She actually bosses them around and tells them how to clean. And I guess she sits back and just watches them because, she's a girl boss. Um, she also made comments about how the movie was dated. And it's so obviously so, I think she said, or something like that. She didn't like the love story. Disney eventually had to shut her up. People were getting really turned off, and the movie was ready to tank even before it was released. So they pushed it back to the fall of 2025 in hopes that people would forget all the damage that she did. And for a while, it looked okay. I think people began to forget who she was and what she said. Um, but guess what? You can't keep a good mouth down. So after the election, she decided that she would go after the Donald Trump supporters. And apparently, people were like, whoa, 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 she's attacking, people that go to the movies. Could we kind of like regulate her mouth a little bit? Um, Trump supporters have already began to boycott the movie, which already was in dire straits. Some people are saying that, I'm not taking my kids to see this trash after the statement you put out. Disney, you need to do something about this. Somebody wrote to the Daily Mail. I hope you get no peace when this film bombs at the box office, wrote to someone else. What else we got here? Others saying that they hope that she loses her job. I think the movie's pretty much made, though. I mean, it was coming out in the spring. It's got to be in the can by now. Let's see. Rachel Zegler is unhinged and a liability. They should permanently shelve Snow White and distance themselves from her. Her involvement with the company alienates millions of people and poisons the brand overall. Now, this is a young girl. I don't really know how old she is. I got to think she's probably no older than 24, 25. And I mean, when I was a kid and I got an opportunity, I would just shut up. I mean, if you get a job at, let's say, CEO of McDonald's, Okay, I don't even know how much they make, but let's go low and say a few $1 million a year, which is a lot of money to me. And and they said, "What do you think of McDonald's food?" I'd say, "I love it. I love it." Truth of the matter is, I hate it. I tried a Big Mac a couple of weeks ago and spit it out. But I would say, "Oh, I love their Big Macs. Oh, I eat a Big Mac for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Love their fries." I mean, it's just common sense, right? You don't sit there and go, "Disgusting. I'll never eat that crap." Uh, you go along with the game. You dance with who took you there. Anyway, let's see. So this is what Zegler wrote. I find myself speechless in the midst of this. Another 4 years of hatred, leading us towards a world I do not want to live in. She wrote this in a deleted Instagram, I guess. I shouldn't be this shocked, but I am. I'm heartbroken for my friends who awoke in fear this morning. And I am here with you to cry, to yell, to hug, to wax poetic on how the left continues to fail us in forging a new path forward. This loss should not have been, and it certainly should not have been by so many votes. Well, that's what you call a democracy, love. Yeah. So that's what happens. Yes, it does. Welcome to the real world. May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace. Well, that's fair, sure. Um, Another 4 years of hatred leading us towards a world I do not want to live in. Leading. I think she means to say leading, but it says leaning. Leaning us towards a world that will be hard to raise my daughter in. Does she have a daughter? She's kind of young to have a daughter. Maybe she does. I don't know. I didn't know that. That's kind of news for me. Does she plan to have a daughter? I don't know. If she plans to have a daughter, who does she plan the father to be? She then adds deep, deep sickness in the United States due to how many people voted for a man who threatens our democracy. How do we do that, I wonder? She said that Harris should not have lost, and certainly shouldn't have lost by that many. So Zegler should actually be our poll master. She obviously knows this stuff right at the top of her head because she's studied absolutely nothing. She continued, "It is terrifying the number of people who stand behind what this man preaches. It is a foolish subscription to a false sense of security, of masculinity, of intelligence, of patriotism, and of humanity. There is no help, no counsel in any of them. I could go on. I won't. I feel sad. You probably do too." Not at all, honey. I'm enjoying this. F this. Very well said. Now, in regards to Elon Musk, who obviously was a big help to Donald Trump in many ways, she just had one message for everyone: get off Ellen's app. Oh, that'll be easy to do. Yeah, we can do that. Well, make a note on the grocery list. I don't use that app for a reason, because you don't have any followers, I'm guessing. He helped me get that man elected, and you're giving him business. She was also in the Hunger Games in a is it a sequel or prequel? I'm so done with the Hunger Games. I don't really care. But she was in some kind of a sequel, I think. Let's see. She calls David Hand's work. I guess he must have been involved with the original Snow White, maybe extremely dated when it comes to the ideas of women being in roles of power, what a woman is fit for in the world. The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. Gosh, you smug. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. So we don't do it this time. What is with this stalking? I mean, I'm so glad I'm not dating. I should actually do a whole show on this. I could. Um, I wouldn't know how, and when I was younger, and I dated. I mean, I've been divorced 3 times. I'm married currently to a very beautiful woman, very very much in love with. But I mean, I wouldn't want to date now. It's like, what is stalking? I mean, before, if you went over to a woman and flirted, or walked her home from school. That was romantic, or it was, um, taking a chance on love. It wasn't stalking. I don't know. Stalking to me is like somebody who's hiding around the bush with duct tape and a bag and some rope to tie you up and take you away somewhere. To me, that's stalking. But I mean, taking a woman off on a horse to marry her in your kingdom, is that stalking now? I don't know. I mean, how can it? Why it makes me wonder why women complain they don't get dates nowadays. I wouldn't want to date. I mean, I would be done dating. I don't want to be accused of being a stalker because I have romantic intentions with a woman. I don't know. Anyway, that's all I got for now. I hope you guys have a great night. I should be able to do another one tomorrow, although that Tyson fight's on Netflix. So if I don't get it done during the daytime, maybe I'll miss a day. But we'll see what happens. I'll probably get one in tomorrow. Okay, guys, this is Reverend Bill signing off. Have a great evening. If you like this, please like, share, and subscribe. My comments, any comments you have, send my way. I didn't put the banner on, but it's rev.billryan@gmail.com. And I look forward to seeing you guys again. Thank you. Bye.